On today's episode, we are going to take a look at Ark Investment. They are an investment group that mainly focuses on growth stocks in innovation markets. And if you guys have been watching my channel, you guys know that I'm big in innovation and big in the growth markets. So I decided to take a look at what they do, what type of products they do, and what type of information and resources they have for free for anybody that's willing to learn, that wants to learn from them. So in today's episode, we're going to take a look at their products, we're going to take a look at some of their top holdings, and we're also going to take a look at some of the resources that they have that I think are actually pretty cool for those that want to continue to learn or just want to learn more about their investment style. So let's get started. And if you are new to my channel, if you are a long-term investor, and if you want to learn about growth stocks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And to all my returning viewers, thank you so much for the support. I truly appreciate it. If you guys ever want to get in contact with me, make sure to post on the YouTube comments. I'm very active there. I also have a Twitter account that I'm very active, and I do have a Discord channel which is free to anybody that wants to join. But remember, all of these are just my opinions. I am by no means a professional, and none of this should be taken as advice. Finally, if you guys want to join my weekly newsletter, make sure to check out josenaharo.com, where I have all the information and all different types of other resources there. All right, so like I mentioned, today's episode, we are going to take a look at Ark Invest. And like I mentioned, Ark Invest is a big investment firm that focuses on high growth stocks within innovating markets. And that to me was pretty interesting, because if you guys, like I mentioned, if you guys have seen, I am very big in growth stocks. Those have been some of my greatest winners, and I took a look at their portfolio and I was pretty happy with what they do. And I do believe there are some informations that any type of investors can follow or even learn from them. So first, let's take a look at the products they offer. So they offer two types of products. First, they have actively managed innovation ETFs, and they have 5 of these ETFs. They have, and I'll talk about them a bit later, and we're going to take a look at their holdings in a few. But they have Ark Innovation ETF. They have Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF. They have Next Generation ETF. They have Genomic Revolution ETF. They also have FinTech Innovation ETFs. And the ones I am pretty interested are the Ark Innovation, the Autonomous Technology and Robotics, Next Generation Internet, and FinTech. Especially because of my background, I am an electrical engineer and I love everything that has to deal with tech and anything I can understand. Me not being a biologist or know anything, I'm pretty sure I did really bad in my biology class. Genomic Revolution ETFs is not one it's not one that really it gets me all pumped up, but it's one we're still going to take a look at. Then they also have index ETFs, and this index ETFs they have two. They have the one that focuses on 3D printing, which again, one that I think is pretty cool, and another one is one that they follow the Israel Innovative Technology. And this to me was pretty crazy and pretty eye-opener that they only are focusing in that country there. So now that tells me, hey, Jose, maybe you want to take a little more look in Israel for potential plays of some growth stock investment. So just by looking at their first page, I've actually learned a lot from them and learned about certain markets that I might want to continue to build information on. So then next, again, you can find a lot of their information on their website, and I really recommend people go and check it out to learn more. Here, we're going to take a look at their investors resources. And in their investors resources tab, they have a lot of great information from all their ETFs. So they have, for example, investment cases, and we're going to take a look at them where it shows you why they are bullish in that market. They also have their fund holdings, where they show all their holdings from their last reported date. If you guys don't know, most of these big, I want to say, investment firms, if they hold a huge portion of, and they have ETFs like this, they have to report their weighing percentage on a quarterly basis. Very similar to how companies report earnings, ETFs have to report their quarterly holdings as well, which tells you how much of a position they weigh. And I was pretty impressed that Ark Invest goes even a step further, where they actually share their daily trades and their daily notifications as well, just to be full transparent. And I'm going to show you guys later on in this episode how to get there and the other type of great resources that you can find for just learning. Again, for me, if you guys know about me, I am a very active manager in my portfolio. I don't have any ETFs. I do have one ETF, but it's probably like 1% of my portfolio. But I personally like to, I love the market, right? That's pretty much what I do. I enjoy reading about companies. I enjoy learning about a new market, learning about that market, and trying to guess the potential growth that market has and the businesses that are able to play within that market that will help me grow my money. I am very unlikely that I'm gonna use their ETFs or even gonna buy any of their ETFs. But I do believe there's something you can learn from anybody, even the most noob investor. There's something you can always learn. And again, they are not a noob investors. These guys are professional. So I feel like I can learn a lot from them. And for example, what I do believe I'm gonna take a look at some of their holdings, and some of their holdings might be companies that I had no idea even existed. So obviously I'm not just gonna go buy blindly on them, but I might go and do some more research on that and see if it's something that interests me and build a position after I do my own due diligence. So if you guys prefer any of these ETFs and want me to take a look at any of their holdings as a true in-depth analysis, make sure to let me know in the comments below. All right, so first, they also have a quarterly report, like I mentioned. But one of the great things is they have a month-to-end performance, and they kind of show how well their ability is to pick stocks. So remember, I mentioned that they have 5, 6, 7 ETFs and 2 index ETFs. So the first one was Ark Innovation ETF, and that's ticker ARKK. And they give you the returns since inception, in the past 5 years, in the past 3 years, year to date. And overall, it does seem to be beating the overall market, which kind of shows that you could beat the market by just being in selected sectors. The second one is Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF. That one's ticker ARQ. Then we have Next Generation Internet ETF. That's ticker ARKW. And you're going to see most of them all start with the first ARK, and then it's the fourth letter that's different. In the Genomic Revolution ETF, the ticker is ARKG. In the FinTech Innovation ETF, the ticker is ARKF. And then in the Ark Index ETF for their 3D printing ETF, it's ticker PRNT. And for Israel Innovative Technology is IZRL. So the first thing is most of their ETFs are beating the market year to date. Actually, all of them are destroying the market year to date. So the S&P 500 year to date has returned -3%. Their innovation ETF is up 42%. Their autonomous ETF is up 27%. Their next generation internet is up 47%. Their genomic ETF is up 55%, and their fintech is up 31%. So they are destroying the market right now. So again, this is if you are seeing someone that's destroying the market like this, there's something you can learn from them. So now let's take a look. Let's take a quick look at all their ETFs and understand what they invest in. We can kind of understand from the names what they really focus on, but let's really take a look at some of their holdings and the type of portfolios they have and how they do that weighing. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the Ark Innovation, and this is ticker ARKK. And this one, they are investing in the following top innovation platforms: DNA sequencing, blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics, and energy storage. They talk pretty much, and again, you guys can go to their website and go to their investment case where they give you a portfolio, a PowerPoint on why they invest in that market, and they do show some facts to back it up. So for example, here in the Ark Innovation ETF, they talk about the different types of innovations that they're doing and why they believe this market will go up. And here they actually have a breakdown by sectors or even portfolio composition. For example, in this Ark Innovation ETF, it's 13% 3D printing, 10% gene therapy, 9% e-commerce, 8 point, and let me zoom in for you guys, 8.9% instrumentation, 7.6 big data and machine learning, 7.4 molecular diagnostics. So we can see they are broken down into different sectors, and they have over 40 holdings. If you go back into their main investors resources, they also have the funds holdings PDF, and in the Ark ARKK ETF, they hold about 40 positions. And this to me it's not an eye-opener, because if you guys have seen my portfolio, I have about 46 positions. But it shows that, hey, you do not need to have a truly concentrated portfolio of only three positions or 4 positions or 5 positions to meet the market. Even a portfolio that has over 40% has over 40 holdings can still beat the market. Their biggest holder, their top holder, is only 10%. My biggest holder is only 7%, and I am beating the market right now. So just having a professional have this type of portfolio, similar style to mine, gives me, even though it gives me that kind of bullish sentiment that, hey, I am doing something right. So if you guys want me to take a look at any of them, make sure to let me know on the comments below. I am very interested in NVTA, CRSP, TWOU, and PRLB. So those are ones I'm most likely going to be doing a video in the upcoming days. And here I do a strong fundamental analysis on every company before I invest in them. The second ticker is the autonomous technology and robotics. And here they talk about how autonomous is gonna make it affordable for ride hailing, it's gonna make it affordable for drone traveling, for drone dropping off. Again, a lot of the information you guys can find in the PowerPoint, but I just want to take a look at their breakdown. They're pretty much taking a look at the following sectors. Over 33% of this portfolio, and this is ticker ARQ. Remember, this is autonomous technology and robotics. So 33% is autonomous vehicles. Then they have 30% in 3D printing, 23% in robotics. So that's pretty much most of the portfolio. The next biggest is 7.1% in energy storage. And again, another one, they are big bulls of Tesla. We can see in almost all their ETFs, their number one holding is always gonna be Tesla. And then the rest of their 10 holdings change depending on what type of market they're in. Another thing I find pretty interesting is a lot of their market caps are either large caps, which is $10 to $100 billion, or small caps, which is 30 million to 2 billion. And that's pretty good, because again, those are the types of stocks I normally take a look at. I like to take a look at companies between at least $1 billion in market cap to 100 billion market cap. There are very few that I do have that are in the mega market cap. For example, Google, Amazon are a few that I do above the mega, but most of my portfolio, I want to say, would be between large, medium, and small. The next ETF they have, and again, I'm not going to take a look at their full position, but again, you guys can check it out on their website. It will be this autonomous technology and robotics ETF has about 38 positions. Next, I'm going to take a look at their next generation internet ETF, and this is ticker ARKW, I believe. Let me just take a quick look for you guys. Yes, ARKW. And here, this one is invested differently. Again, 20% in e-commerce, about 20% in big data and machine learning, about 18% in cloud computing, about 12.5% in Internet of Things. And we can see, again, their biggest holding is Tesla at 10.7. They are a big believer of Tesla. They do seem to have Square a lot. And another one I'm seeing pretty frequently is, besides Square, is Silenex, which I'm pretty sure it's Internet of Things, TU Inc. And those two are ones I'm seeing very often. So might be ones I want to take a look later on throughout my episode careers. The next one they talk about is their genomic revolution, which is their biology one that deals with gene modification. And here we can see this one is broken down in, it's pretty much all in the health sector. 98% of this portfolio is in the health sector, and this is ticker ARKG. This is the only one that I want to say does not have Tesla as their number one holding, but who knows, maybe Tesla might join the healthcare sector soon, and it might become their number one holding here too. So here they've broken down in about 20% in molecular diagnostic, about 19% in gene therapy, 17% in beyond DNA, 14.3% in instrumentation, 11% in targeted therapeutics. And again, a huge portion of their portfolio is either between small caps, so between 300 million to 100 billion market cap. And like I said, as a growth investor, those are the ones I am mainly focused on. I do believe mega companies still have the ability to continue to double, continue to triple, but I do believe the percentage of medium, small, and large cap companies seeing a 5 times growth or 10 times growth is a lot more likely compared to these mega companies. Again, I am invested in mega stocks, and I'm not trying to say mega stocks are bad at all, but just in from my experience and what I've seen and what my double baggers and what my triple baggers have looked like, they have always been between that medium, large to small cap. Then the next ETF we're going to take a look at is their fintech, and I want to guess this is ticker ARKF. Yes, ARKF. And this one is broken down into mainly, again, fintech. It's 30% transaction innovations, 22% customer-facing platforms, 17% frictionless funding platforms, 12% risk transformations. And we can see their number one holding here is Square, one that I'm very bullish on. They have Tencent, their number two holding, 5.9. If you guys have been watching, Tencent is another one I am very big on. They have PayPal, but then they have ones I don't really follow, like Mercado Libre. I believe that might be a Brazilian based, not 100% sure, but I do believe that's an international company. But again, it gives me the opportunities to see, hey, maybe some of these top 10 holdings, which I haven't looked at before, these might be a great place for me to start looking at them. Here, they do have a lot more mega cap, but I do believe it's because they have companies like Apple, they have Amazon, they have Tencent, they have Alibaba, they have PayPal, which I'm pretty sure is now in the mega cap as well. So those usually tend to be, so those hold about 30% of the portfolio. The next one, I think that's it with their ETFs. And here their Ark F holdings holds about 45 positions. Let me just take a look at their other positions. I didn't take a look at their Ark Genomic, which is their Ark G, holds about 40 positions. So all of their ETFs hold an average of about 40 positions per portfolio. And again, that tells me that, hey, Jose, you're not completely crazy when you have about 46, 47 companies in your portfolio. Next, the next one is their printing index fund. And this is ticker PRNT, if I remember correctly. And again, if you go on their PowerPoint presentation, it tells you exactly why they believe this market is important. But I just want to take a look at their breakdown. So they have 50% in 3D printing hardware here. They have 30% in some form of CAD simulation software, which are the softwares that are used to create the overall schematic of the item that needs to be printed. They also have about 13% in 3D printing service. So this 100% has to deal with 3D printing. There's nothing else here. And here we can see some of their top 10 holdings. I am actually surprised to see Microsoft Corporation here and HP Inc. I did not know they were that big into the 3D printing. I do maybe believe it is because of the CAD and simulation software. Does Microsoft have any form of simulation software that deals with 3D printing? Maybe the hardware itself, just because they do have the computers to back it up. But again, this is another market I am not too familiar with, the 3D printing. Unfortunately, they do not have a market in e-gaming, which is one I am completely bullish on. But there is another investment firm that I follow that has strong e-gaming platforms. And if you guys want me to talk about that firm later on, make sure to let me know on the comments. And finally, they have their Israel Innovation ETF, and this is ticker ICRL. And again, in their PowerPoint, you have pretty much everything broken down of why they believe this is such a great market. But let's take a look at their holdings, and they do not have their holdings here. But if we take a look, they don't have their holdings in their PowerPoint. They don't have it broken down in in anything, do they? Oh, actually they do here. So they do. They have, again, most of these are between over 54% of this portfolio is small caps. And just to reiterate, right, all of their ETFs are beating the market right now, but their overall index ETFs are not doing, are they beating the market? Their print 3D ETF right now is not beating the market, and their Israel ETF is beating the market by a few percentage. It's nowhere near compared to their innovation ETFs, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, that doesn't mean they are bad investments, right? Sometimes the market just moves in certain sectors before moving into other sectors. Like now, we saw a lot of the clouding sectors move up, and a lot of the non-clouding sectors are pretty much flat or just moving a little bit just with regards to the overall market. So here they do share all the biz. Again, their Israel ETF is one that they have 45 positions. So again, this is just another way to show, hey, you do not need to be overly risky by holding only 2 positions, because for me, I can't handle that. I personally, if I only had 5 positions and I saw one dropped about 50%, I don't think I have the risk tolerance or the risk stomach to handle that. For that reason, I have about 45 companies. But again, those 45 are ones I do my due diligence on, and I am beating the market right now. And I don't think many people can truly say that. And all of the ones I invested are ones that I feel will give me double baggers, triple baggers. At the end of the day, remember, I am not a professional, and I could be wrong, and I'm sure I'm going to be wrong. But by having 47 positions, the chance, and me doing my due diligence, the chances of me being wrong are being reduced with both me understanding the market, by me increasing my diversification, and by me doing my due diligence. All right, so now that we took a look at their ETFs, I want to show you guys the different types of resources that Ark has. And these are resources that I believe all types of investors can kind of learn something from. And this is, to me, one of the greatest ways that has continued to help me develop into the investor that I am today. I do not follow one type of investment style. I try to learn, and I don't have this block mind that only one investment style works. I believe all types of investment style works. I think you need to understand the type of investor that you are. For me, like I mentioned, I can't handle holding only 5 positions or 6 positions. But that does not mean that a 5 or 6 position portfolio is bad. It's just not meant for me, because I am not willing to be able to have that much risk in 6 positions. Again, a 1 portfolio position can do good. And like I said, this is what has helped me develop to become a better investor each day. I have learned from all types of investors. I have learned from growth investors. I have read books about value investor. I have learned about dividend investors, about growth investment, about REIT investments. So I've learned about everywhere, and I've tried to pick what I like from all of them, and has helped me shape to the investor that I am today. And that's how I'm going to use Ark Invest. I'm not going to use them for their ETFs, and that's just me. I'm going to use them for their knowledge. I am going to use them for taking a look at some positions that might be worth looking at. So this investors resources, again, if you go to their website and you go to investors resources, they have a lot of different products. One thing that they do have is trade notifications. If you sign up for their trade notification, they send you an email every time they make a purchase, which I think is completely awesome. For example, this past on today, they bought a huge position in I want to say Huya, which is my number 1 holding, and I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty sure that's the reason Huya was up so big today, and Huya has become one of my best winners. I think it's my number 1 winner, and it's also my number 1 portfolio holding, and it's only like 8% of my portfolio. So here they show you, if you go to their Ark trade notification, if you sign up to there, it gives you they give you an email every time they make a trade. I'm not sure if it's completely real time, but it is somewhat close to when they post it. And for example, today they made a few buys in the genomic ETF, in the innovation ETF, in the autonomous ETF, and in the next generation of internet ETF. And they tell you how many shares they bought and roughly on what at one time. Another thing is, if we keep scrolling down, if you see on their contact, there's another below their contact, they have Explore Ark Research. And if you click there, it gives you even more resources. Here in their research, there's a thing that says research centers. They have podcasts you can listen to. They have webinars, articles, white papers, big ideas for 2020. Again, you don't have to follow any investor to the teeth, but if they are doing something right, I do feel like it's great to come with an open mind and try to grab some of the information that they have. This is pretty much a free schooling. A lot of people think that, hey, you need to go to school to become such a great investor, or you need to be this smart whiz. No, you just need to be, again, this is not right. In my opinion, you just need to have an open mind and try to take everything you can, be an empty sponge. So I am going to take a listen at some of their podcasts, maybe some of their webinars, depending on how much time I have. But here they also talk about their investment strategy. So out of all those ETFs that we mentioned, they have them here. So for example, their fintech innovation. If we want to learn more about it, we learn more, and they show you their investment focus. In their fintech, they're focused on digital wallets, on mobile payments, on lending, on risk transformation, on artificial intelligence, and on e-commerce. And then again, they show you everything. You can explore more about their ETFs, and they'll take you back to their previous site where it gives you all their holdings and everything else. Another thing that I found pretty interesting is here, if we go on the research center, in their investment solution, they talk about their investment styles. So where was it? Was it here? Nope. Is it Why Innovation? Nope. About Ark. If you go about Ark, they have their investment process. And again, I liked reading this because it's kind of how I invest as well. So how they start up first they do a top-down research. First, they try to look for a market that's going to disrupt the overall game or the overall market. For me, I believe the e-gaming streaming is that market. So I first start learning about the market and the potential place. This is exactly what Ark does as well. Then after that, they start listing companies that are those that might be huge plays in that market. Now, after that, they do a bottom-up research. Now that bottom-up research, they have now a list of companies that are within that market. Now they start looking at the stock valuation. They start looking at portfolio, at their risk management. And then they start breaking down to what goes into the portfolios. And that's exactly how I invest. A lot of people say, Jose, when you're looking at growth stocks, is the first thing you're looking at the PE ratio or the price to sales ratio or their EV to S ratio. No, that is not the first thing I am ever looking at. The first thing I look at is their market. What type of market are they in? Are they in a market that I believe is going to be one that can increase dramatically in the next 3 to 5 years? If yes, I continue to do some more research to try to back up that gut feeling or that innovation that yes, this is a market. Once I have that backup data, then I start looking at potential plays within that business. After I have some potential plays, then I start knocking out the list of, hey, this one has a very bad balance sheet. This one has a very bad management team. And then that's how I end up building my portfolio. And I am pretty happy to see that that's how Ark's investment process is. It shows that, hey, I'm not as dumb as I look. What else do they have? Like I mentioned, they do have a blog where you can read. They have a podcast where you can listen to some of them. Their podcast seems like it's mainly about talking to CEOs or top knowledge people of that certain market. Again, something you can probably listen on the drive after you listen to my podcast, obviously. And again, they have big idea reports for 2020. So they're showing what they believe is going to be a huge market. They do deep learning, streaming media, electric vehicles, automation, 3D printing, ride hailing, aerial drones, DNA sequencing, biotech, and digital wallets and Bitcoin. So these are the ones that they believe are going to be some of the biggest ideas in the future. And again, I think it's pretty cool that they show all this information for free to anybody. And you can subscribe to all their newsletter to get anytime they have updates. So I obviously subscribe to them. And that's pretty much it for this episode. Just a quick look at their team. Their CEO is Catherine Wood. I have heard a lot about her from some of the great investors that I follow in Twitter, and she is very respectable. Again, if you guys hit them up, tell them to give me a job. I'm pretty sure I can be a very good analyst for them. Just kidding, but that would be actually pretty cool. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. This was me going outside of me doing fundamental analysis, but I do think it is a great tool for investors to try to find different ways to learn more about this investment style life. And that's for me, it was very beneficial learning about Ark Investment. So I hope it was beneficial from you guys to listen about them. So have a good day, guys. Take care and have a good night.